Hey everyone, and welcome back to Lady in the Library. So today I have a news article for you, which I thought would be kind of cool to add in some news articles about discoveries made, especially coming out of Egypt. So in 2018, a rather rare discovery was made. The remains of an ancient Egyptian woman were unearthed by a team of Italian and American archaeologists. They were investigating a small cemetery about 30 miles north of the city of Aswan and near the Kom Ombo Temple. The site itself was most likely used by nomads moving from Nubia to Egypt during the Second Intermediate Period, spanning from 1750 to 1550 BCE. So what made this discovery unique was that this young woman, believed to have been about 25 years old, had been pregnant at the time of her death. A press release from Egypt's Ministry of Antiquities said her skeleton was resting in a contracted position, her head wrapped in a leather shroud. The grave also held two pottery vessels, an artfully made but well-worn jar, and a fine bowl with a red polished surface and black interior. There were also little beads made from ostrich eggshells and pottery and jars buried alongside her. While this isn't considered a high-ranking burial, the few unfinished beads in the grave suggest she may have been a bead maker by trade. Upon examining her remains, they discovered tiny bones still within her pelvis. Archaeologist Nigel Hetherington called it pretty unique. He explained to MNN the fetus had settled into the head-down position, suggesting she may have died right before or during childbirth. Nigel continues by saying, "Fetuses are repeatedly found in burials. We know that Egyptians did mummify fetuses for very high-status people. They would try to take the babies with them into the afterlife. There's something very poignant and quite sweet about it, but also very sad. You could confirm from that there's a belief this child can go to the afterlife, and also a belief that this is a fully formed person as such, and that it's important to preserve the body." Obviously, this wasn't the typical mummification process we usually associate with mummies in Egypt, so I'll quickly go over the common mummification process. They would wash the body, remove the brain, remove the organs, and place into 4 canopic jars, cover the body with natron salt to dry it out, along with other resins to protect against decay, which usually took about 40 days to dry it out. The body was then washed and perfumes were added, and the body stepped to regain its form. The body was then wrapped in a fine linen with protective amulets added, most importantly a scarab amulet placed over the heart. The body was then placed in a sarcophagus and placed in a tomb. A very long process, of course, taking several weeks to complete. The woman in this video, however, was wrapped with care and given a loving burial, but her body was naturally mummified by the hot desert sand. According to earthfacts.com, natural mummification is the process by which the skin and organs of a deceased person or animal are preserved without the introduction of chemicals by humans. Natural mummification is typically caused by extreme cold, air conditions, or lack of oxygen. Naturally preserved mummies have been found deposited in deserts, buried in oxygen-poor peat bogs, and frozen in glaciers. It's actually pretty rare for a fetus to have been found inside of a body from this time period. It's almost impossible, though, to determine the true cause of her death, since there's no soft tissue left to examine. The woman's pelvis does appear to be misaligned, which could be a sign of trauma or perhaps a nutritional deficiency as a child, and her bones just didn't develop properly later on. Still, it definitely gives us a window into the lives of women in this time era and, sadly, the reality of maternal mortality. So I found this discovery to be both interesting and, of course, very sad. On one hand, it's like a time capsule into another time and place and great for researchers to learn from, but on the other, this was somebody's daughter, somebody's mother, and somebody's wife. We don't know the heartbreak her loved ones endured by saying goodbye to her in what should have been the most important and happiest moments of her life. Behind the mummies and remains that are found either in Egypt or elsewhere, these were living human beings with hearts and minds and stories to tell. There's no mention of her name or her child's name anywhere. It seems to be lost in time, but I do hope that her and her child reach paradise together, the field of reeds. So what do you think about this discovery? Let me know in the comment section below. I'll also add the links to the articles mentioned earlier so you can take a look. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you enjoyed this content, please hit the like and subscribe button, also the notification bell to be alerted when the next video is posted. Until next time, guys, take care. Bye!